friends, Gia, welcome. If you're new and if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So today I'm doing this video in collaboration with several other YouTubers. Everybody will be listed down below. Sarah over at Budget Girl created this collaboration, and it's essentially how to beat budget burnout. So today we're going to talk about how to avoid budget burnout and how to beat it if you're there. The first thing I want to say is that you have to be realistic. This is not a race. It's not about how fast you can pay your debt off. There is no winner. I mean, this is your life, okay? So you really want to be realistic about it. You know, I kind of correlate it with crash dieting, okay? Because living on a budget is a lifestyle change, okay? It's not like you just live on this budget until you're debt free and then boom, you could just do whatever you want. No, this is a lifestyle change for your money, okay? So like I said, I correlate it with crash dieting. Let's say you crash diet, you eat no carbs for like 5 months straight and you lose like 100 pounds. Well, what happens when you start eating carbs again the way you used to? You gain all the weight back. That's the same thing with budgeting. Okay, you could really burn yourself out if you don't take the time to really find a system that works for you, that you can incorporate with your financial lifestyle. Because like I said, you know, once you become debt free, that doesn't mean that all your hard work is finished. You don't have to work at it anymore. It's definitely something that you need to focus on every month when you do create a budget. So it's definitely important to find what works for you. Also, if you're in the midst of just feeling burnt out, and trust me, we've all been there. I remember when my husband and I were in the middle of literally paying everything off, all of our consumer debt off. And then we were getting hit left and right with Murphy's Law, which is like inevitable. You know, we had to pay for busted pipes at our rental home. And all of a sudden the homeowners association said, hey, you need to get your house painted right now. That was $3 grand. I mean, it was just, we were getting hit left and right coming up. We had to come up with a lot of cash in a short period of time. And I remember my husband said, you know, I'm working so hard to create this living, and then I only get this tiny amount of money, and what we call an allowance to each other, to do what I want with it. And I remember thinking, you know, yes, it's a small allowance, but it's something, you know. And at that point is where I really felt the burnout. Between my husband and I, we both just felt burnt out because we were doing everything and then we kept getting hit left and right. And I want you to know, this is a small season of your life. Okay, if you work hard and push through this burnout, you will be able to live the way you want to live. You can live like no one else, as the guru Dave Ramsey always says. You know, this is just a small season. It's not like it's going to be like this forever. Of course, you're going to live on a budget forever, but you know, your allowance may grow as you eliminate more and more debt, or all of your debt, consumer debt, mortgage debt, everything. You know, just imagine the kind of lifestyle that you'll be able to live. So I think it's important that if you're in the midst of being burnt out, you know, to think about how it's just a small season of your life and how it's not going to be like this forever. I say all this to say, give yourself a small personal allowance, something to look forward to. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's just yours that you could do and splurge on whatever you want to splurge on. If you want to save a whole year's worth, you could splurge. Or if you just want to just get your nails done, if you're into that, then you can do that, or buy yourself a purse or something. Just a small allowance, because it gives you something to look forward to me helps, you know, when you're in the midst of being burnt out. Also, and this is why I love keeping historical data or your historical finances in one place to find it. If you're interested in how I budget, I will insert a card here to that video, but I have, going back to the beginning of when we started this back in 2011, everything that we spent, the total amount that was in our savings accounts and everything. And when I was burnt out, I would go back and look at where we started and how far we've come. To visually see how far you've come, it's amazing. Just think back to when you first started budgeting, when you're literally at the bottom trying to just crawl your way up. Look how far you've come. You should be proud of yourself. You know, say, you know what? I'm getting burnt out, but I've come a long way. And if I push through this, just imagine where your limits. You can't limit yourself with it. So actually, you know, it's good to keep historical data so you can always look back to where you've come from. So another thing to refresh it if you're feeling burnt out is change your system up a little bit. You know, for instance, if you are a person who uses cash envelopes every single month and you're kind of burnt out from that, why don't you try opening up a checking account, and instead of putting your cash envelopes in there, put exactly how much you need in there for each of your cash envelopes, and give yourself a debit card. Now, if you're not ready for that, or if you feel like you'll overspend, or you're not ready to categorize it, if you're not like balancing your budget every month, then I don't recommend it. But it's just something to just change up the system. And then vice versa, if you've never used cash envelopes before, use cash envelopes, change it up a little bit. And sometimes that just refreshes your energy about budgeting. I mean, I'm one of those weird people who could talk about budgets all day long. It just doesn't get boring to me. That's just my personality. I know, I'm a dork. I will accept that. I'm a nerd. But, you know, I know most people aren't like that. So if you need something to just zhuzh it up and change it up, just change your system up a little bit, just for a month, to see how you do. And last but not least, look at the bigger picture. You know, for me, it's my children. I want to change our family tree. I don't want them to have to try to pay through their way out of consumer debt. Or mortgage debt. I want them to live a debt-free life. And so I look at that bigger picture, and it's totally worth it to me. And it's totally worth just pushing through that burnout. So that's it, guys. What do you guys do to beat your budget burnout? Don't forget to check out everyone's videos that is in this collab listed down below. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that button right below me and check out my previous video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.